Hacker727 here with my Q&A video. I would like to thank everyone who was involved, everyone who asked questions, and again, congratulations to Ree Lewis 2011 for winning. And we got 45 questions, so here we go. First question is from VEG Reviews 95. He asks, what person do you watch the most besides yourself on YouTube? Now my question is, my answer would be all my subscribers, because I try my best to watch everybody's video every day and to respond to them. I do as many as I can. Sometimes I'll go into it the next day, but I do my best to always watch every video and answer it. Second question, Mr. Seabass287 asks, what game are you most proud of owning? Now, my answer for that would be Chrono Trigger for the Super NES, complete in box. It was just a great find. It's a great game. I love playing the original versus playing the 3DS version. As good as it is, it's just not the same as the original. Next, from Superheroes Den 1, his question is, what is your opinion on the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 game? And I love Call of Duty series, the Modern Warfare series, so I'm looking forward to it. The whole World War III thing sounds great to me. I'm really excited about it. You know, a lot of people are getting to the point where they hate Call of Duty. They prefer Battlefield 3. It's one or the other. One hates this, one hates that. To me, it's stupid. If you like a series, you like a series. I think it's great, and I'm going to enjoy it. So, thank you. Next, the Atari 7800 Junkie asks, what is the unique item you have in your video game collection? And that would be my N-Gage snowboard. There were very few of them ever made. Mostly they were gifts to people who worked for the company. So I will show that to you in my video of my updated room tour, which should be out in the next, I'd say, week or two. So look forward to that. It's a big difference from the old to the new. Next, Crazed Link 00 asks, have you ever imported any games? And the answer to that is yes. The first thing I ever imported was the Dreamcast and 3 games. I imported Virtua Fighter, July, and Godzilla Generations. When it originally came out, I was so psyched for it. I couldn't wait for the American release, so I went out and I bought it from a reputable Japanese dealer. So it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I still have it to this day, and I play my import Dreamcast games on it. Next, David Lee T asks, who would win Marvel vs. DC in an all-out brawl to the death? All characters involved. Now, I love my comics, and I love both Marvel and DC, but my allegiance has to go with Marvel since I like many of their characters much better. I mean, in DC, my favorite two are Superman and Batman. There's a few others I like, but for the most part, those are the only two that matter to me. And in the Marvel universe, there's a lot of people that could deal with Superman and Batman. You got the Hulk and a few others, and I really think that ultimately Marvel would win. The main reasoning behind me is just better characters, and ultimately because I like them better. So, next from Superheroes Den 1, another question. As a kid, what video game did you constantly play? And that answer would be The Legend of Zelda. It was my favorite game ever. It was one of the first NES games I got, and I would beat it, play it again, beat it, play it again, over and over and over. Just loved it. Next, Mr. Game Freak 174 asks, if Mario went head-to-head with Kratos and Master Chief, who would win? For me, that's a simple answer, and it is Kratos. And the simple reason, he is a god. So I don't see how you could beat him. Next, Zwigd Games asks, what is your favorite system? My favorite system of all time is the NES. It was the first I ever owned, and to this day it has one of the greatest libraries of games, and I never pick up a game and don't enjoy myself playing it. So it brings back not only nostalgia, but the fact that it's one of the greatest ever. Adam the Gamer 2008 asks, what's the best small score you ever had? Meaning not rare or valuable, but something you always wanted. And that answer would be my Atari 2600 pickup. You know, I know it's a heavy sixer and that makes it valuable, but, you know, ultimately they're not worth thousands of dollars. So, you know, it's just something I always wanted. It was a system I never played as a kid. I always wanted to, but for me, my generation started with the NES, so I really was happy to get that and play some games on it. Next, Sick Cooper asks, how many games in your collection? I counted them yesterday. The answer is 930, not counting the new pickups that are going to be posted in 2 weeks, but 930 as of yesterday. Of those, which is the most valuable and what did you pay for it? I would have to say Steel Battalion with the controller for the original Xbox, and I paid between 80 and 100. It's been a long time since I picked it up, purchased it, but it has gone way up in value and is very rare at this moment. So, next, Joe Palmer 123 asks, what is the rarest item you almost got but didn't and regret not getting it? For me, that answer would be simple: nothing. Whenever I see something I want, I will do anything I have to, borrow the money, put it on a credit card, do something to get that item, because I don't want to regret not picking up something when I get the chance. I'm not rich by any means, but I will try one way or another to get that pickup. Next, Mature97 asks, do you ever buy 2 copies of your favorite games, one for playing, one unopened for collecting? The simple answer is no. I buy my games to open them and play them and enjoy them. To buy them just to sit in a box and collect dust doesn't really work for me. There are ones unopened in my collection, but that's just because I haven't gotten to playing them yet. But I would never buy 2 games just for that reason. Next, Messy Video Game Nerd asks, what is the first great game you remember playing and what made it great? For me, again, that's The Legend of Zelda for the NES, and what made it great was the storyline. I loved it, I still love it to this day, and I still play it to this day. I'm so happy they included it with the Ambassador program on the 3DS, because I downloaded it right away and I've been playing it. Next, The Secret Game Room asks, what is your favorite console and why? The NES, again, is my favorite console of all time because it was the first I ever played and because of its great game library. Next, Neoclassic Gamer asks, what is the #1 game that comes to your mind as the worst video game you have ever played but thought it was going to be great, and why? For me, that's simple. The Darkness for the Xbox 360. I love the comic book story. I love everything about that book. And the fact that it was a subpar game really aggravated me. I hear there's going to be a sequel. Hopefully they'll do it right this time. Next, Bear Down Zona asks, what was the first video game you remember going to the store and buying with your own money? And that would be Street Fighter II Championship Edition for the Sega Genesis. There used to be a Route 18 flea market by me, and there used to be a game dealer in there, and he had a great deal on it, and it was the first game I ever purchased with my own money. Next, Syphic asks, what is your most heartbreaking moment in pickups? And being that I really don't have any too much, the only one I could say is the first time I ever went looking for games in a Goodwill. Somebody right in front of me, because I couldn't find where they stored the games, ended up getting a mint in-box copy of the Super Mario Brothers 1. So I missed out on that, so that would have to be my answer. CB54321 asks, what is your favorite video game based on a comic book? That's simple, Batman Arkham Asylum. It is not only the best Batman game ever made, but the best comic book game ever made, bar none. Big Daddy Gamer asks, what is the most expensive game you have that you got for the cheapest amount? That would be Final Fantasy VII. I only paid $4 for it, and it's worth about 50 or 60. So to get that for $4, that by far is the best deal I ever got. Asian Sleepy asks, do you set a weekly budget when you buy games at the thrift stores and game stores? Yes, and my answer to that is $50 a week. Now, if there's some amazing pickup, I will go over that so I don't lose it. But for the most part, I try $50 a week. The Game Freak 5150 asks, what is your first video game console and which is your favorite? And that is NES on both counts. Just love it. There's no two ways about it. Next, 97 Video Game Nerd asks, are you an angry video game nerd fan or an irate gamer fan? The answer would be angry video game nerd, and I really hope to meet him at one of the next upcoming shows I go to and get his autograph, because I think he's a great guy with a great channel. Next, Me Dylan asks, if you find a game that is brand new and sealed and is rare and costs a lot of money, would you open the game or leave it sealed? Again, I would open it because I don't see the point in buying a game and letting it sit there and collect dust when they're too much fun to play. Next, Twirup asks, what item in your collection has the most sentimental value to you and why? And that would be Popful Mail. It's an RPG for the Sega CD, and it's one of a few games that are from my original collection as a kid that I never traded into the GameStop demons and then had to rebuy. So it's an original game from my childhood collection. Light to Game 80 asks, what is your favorite video games to play? Action RPGs, such as The Legend of Zelda. Games like that, I love them. Randy Jillian asks, what is the most valuable, rarest game you have come across while game hunting? Again, Chrono Trigger. I paid $40 for a mint in box copy, so that has to be it. Mega Retro Boy 92 asks, what game protagonist had the most influence on you? And my answer to that is Ganon. He is a villain in a great storyline, and he just doesn't give up. And that's what it is to me, his resolve. He keeps coming and coming and coming after Link and after Princess Zelda because he wants to accomplish his goal, and he never gives up. And that means a lot to me, to never give up on your dreams, whether you're good or bad. Kamehame Gamer asks, do you have any video game related tattoos, and if so, who are they? Yes, and right there, if you can see that, it is Rain from the Blood Rain series, one of my favorite women in gaming, and I had to get her tattooed on me. Maximum RD asks, what is a gaming genre you don't like, or what is your least favorite genre? And I'd have to say my least favorite is puzzle games like Tetris, stuff like that. I'm really into action games, RPGs, stuff like first-person shooters. I'm not really into puzzle games. Retro Roadshow asks, what is your favorite video game or comic-based television series for when you were a kid? I'd have to say either Transformers or He-Man. I loved both of those shows as a kid. I still love them. I have the complete series on my hard drive, and I watch them, once a year. I'm just from beginning to end, I'm a great fan. Next, Cyrus649 asks, what is your most treasured item that is not a game or system? And that would be my Final Fantasy VII statues. And again, you'll see them in my updated room tour. So again, look forward to that. DisLocalBoy96793 asks, what is your favorite first-person shooter? Simply done, Halo. Again, when you see my room tour, you'll see how much Halo stuff I have. Just love the series. It's by far one of my favorites. And Master Chief is awesome. Shady Great One asks, what is your favorite ending in a game? And that would be the Silent Hill original game. I love the horror, the story behind it, and just the ending when I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but anyone who's played it knows it has a great ending. Chug a Cold Beer asks, what are your thoughts on cloud gaming? Simple, I don't like it. I like owning a physical copy of the game in my hand, and I'm not interested in something I can't own. I know one day I'll have to accept it because that's how gaming is going to go, but I really don't like it. 49er Nation 1 asks, what milkshake do you prefer, chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry, and why? Simply put, vanilla. It's my favorite flavor of ice cream. There's not too much you can say about that. Night Gamer 1988 asks, what game console do you play the most? The PS3. I really enjoy it. The graphics on it are the best bar none, and it has a great gaming library. Johnny Johnson asks, do you have a fond game-related memory that happened during Christmas? Yes, getting the Genesis console for Christmas was one of my favorites. It was my first console that I ever personally owned. Like, my parents always bought the NES, Super NES, those were all mine and my brother's. But the Genesis was the first one that was solely mine. So I really always will remember that. Mario and Sonic 1986 asks, what is the rarest game in your collection, and is there a game that you want but can't find? Chrono Trigger is the rarest game in my collection. And Panzer Dragoon Saga is the game I'm looking for that I can't find for a good price. I can find it for an expensive price, just not a good one. The Video Game Junkie 99 asks, what is your favorite band of all time? Very simple, Metallica. I loved them ever since I was a kid, ever since I heard them. I've gone to many, many of their concerts. And whenever they come around, I'm still around. I do prefer the old stuff way more than the new, but I'll see them anytime I can. Jill Poo 3 asks, who is your favorite video game chick of all time? And that would be Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. I loved her attitude. I loved how beautiful she was and how she had a good heart. And she's just my favorite video game chick of all time. Ree Lewis, the winner to the contest, 2011, asks, which first-party Super Nintendo game is your favorite? That would be Zelda, the whole series. I just love them. And which third-party game is your favorite? And that would be Contra from Konami. Just love both those games and their series, and I'll buy them on every console I could get them for. All right, Old School NYC Gamer asks, do you collect old school computers? The only one I want to get again, because I owned it as a child, was the Commodore 64. I will get it one day, and I really am into collecting for it. Are you more into games or peripherals? I'm more into collecting games, but if they're, stuff that's not too easily found or is something totally different, I'll pick it up. Do you collect more for computers or consoles? Definitely for consoles. Retro 1X Gaming asks, what was your favorite ever GameCube game? Simple. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. I thought the cel-shaded graphics were great, and I loved the story, and it's just one of my favorite Zelda games. And finally, ADowell123 asks, your favorite Star Wars game ever? And that is simple, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I really enjoy those games set in the Star Wars universe. I love the stories behind them, the customization, everything about it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A video. Hope it was everything you were looking for. And till next time, this is Hacker727 out. Peace. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.